Imagine waking up to a knock that shatters your peaceful morning coffee, only to find the neighborhood tyrant at your door, armed with a clipboard and a grudge against your brother's old army pants. But what starts as a petty dress code violation explodes into a hilarious takedown of bureaucratic absurdity, leaving the self-proclaimed queen of suburbia packing her bags in defeat. The sun was barely peeking over the cookie-cutter rooftops of Willow Creek Estates, that oh-so-perfect slice of American suburbia where every lawn looked like it had been groomed by a robot army. I, Alex Turner, was nursing my black coffee on the porch, trying to shake off the fog of another sleepless night, when the sharp rap at the door hit like a warning shot. We weren't expecting anyone, deliveries came later, and friends knew better than to show up unannounced in this pressure cooker of a neighborhood. I cracked the door open, and there she was, Brenda Hargrove, HOA President Extraordinaire, her smile as fake as the pearls around her neck, clutching her trusty clipboard like it was the Constitution itself. "Morning, Alex," she chirped, but her eyes were daggers. "We need to address a little issue with your households compliance." She handed over a crisp, official-looking letter, her manicured nails tapping impatiently. I scanned it, and my jaw nearly hit the welcome mat. My brother, Mike, fresh off a tour in the Middle East, was being cited for wearing disruptive camouflage attire in visible community areas. Disruptive? The guy had barely unpacked his duffel bag, and now his old fatigues were a threat to the aesthetic unity of Willow Creek. I stifled a laugh that bubbled up like bad champagne. "Brenda, you serious? Mike's a vet. Those pants probably saved his life more times than your bylaws have been revised." Her lips thinned into a line that could slice bread. "Rules are rules, Alex. We can't have residents looking like they're prepping for an invasion. It intimidates the community. Think of the children." "Oh, the children. Always the shield for her power trips." I nodded, playing along. But inside, I was already plotting. Mike had come home quieter than before, shadows under his eyes from nights that didn't end with the war. He'd been crashing with me to decompress, mowing the lawn in those faded camo shorts because, well, that's what he owned. But Brenda? She saw a rebel, not a hero, as she marched off, her heels clicking like tiny judgments. I shut the door and called out to Mike in the kitchen. "Bro, you gotta see this. The fashion police are after you." Mike glanced up from his scrambled eggs, fork paused midair. He read the letter, his face impassive at first. Then a slow, wry grin crept in. Intimidating. Huh. Guess I should tone it down. But his eyes sparkled with that old mischief, the kind that got us through childhood scrapes. I knew then this wasn't ending with an apology. No. Mike was the type to observe, wait, and strike smart. He'd endured worse than a clipboard-wielding busybody. This was just target practice. By afternoon, the whispers started. Our next-door neighbor, old Mr. Ellis, shuffled over while pretending to check his mailbox. "Heard about the camo kerfuffle," he muttered, glancing around like a spy in a bad movie. "Brenda's on a tear. Says it's about maintaining property values." I rolled my eyes. Property values? Mike's not planting landmines in the yard. But that's Willow Creek for you, surface-level serenity masking a web of ridiculous regs. No pink flamingos. No visible trash cans after 8 a.m. And apparently, no reminders that real life happens beyond the white picket fences. Mike, meanwhile, stayed cool. He didn't rant, he researched. That night, over beers on the back deck, He scrolled through his phone. HOA bylaws are one thing, he said softly. But federal protections for service members? That's ammo. I smirked. You're not gonna just comply. Are you? He shook his head. Nah. Let's give him a show. The next morning, the real fun began. Mike stepped out to grab the paper in his full desert camo ensemble, boots laced tight. Cap tilted just so. He waved cheerily at Mrs. Patel across the street, who was watering her roses. She waved back, then did a double take, her hose spraying wildly. Morning, folks, Mike called, his voice steady as ever. But the ripple started, curtains twitched, phones buzzed. By noon, Brenda's minivan screeched to a halt in front of our house. She hopped out, face already beet red under her sun hat. This is deliberate provocation, she hissed, jabbing a finger at Mike, who was calmly washing his truck in the driveway. You're turning our peaceful enclave into a military base. Mike straightened up, wiping his hands on a rag. Peaceful? Like how you find the Johnsons for their kids' lemonade stand last summer? Real harmonious. Brenda's eyes narrowed. That's different. It was unlicensed commerce. I watched from the garage, biting back a chuckle. Mike's tone was mild, but the jab landed. Brenda's community spirit was code for control freak. She sputtered. You'll hear from the board about this escalation. Fines are coming. As she stormed off, Mike turned to me. Think she'll bite? I nodded. Hook, line, and sinker. That evening, the first fine arrived via certified mail, $200 for repeated aesthetic violations. Mike just filed it away, his patience a weapon sharper than any retort. Word spread like wildfire through the neighborhood group chat, Brenda's domain, where she moderated with an iron fist. Posts popped up, is camouflage really that bad, from anonymous accounts. Quickly deleted. But Mike didn't stop. He wore the gear to walk the dog we didn't even have, borrowed from a sympathetic neighbor, nodding politely at gawkers. Lovely day, isn't it, he'd say, as if he weren't dressed for a sandbox skirmish. Brenda ramped up her campaign, cornering folks at the community pool. Don't you see? This is about order. If we let one slide, chaos ensues. Her voice carried that full moral high ground. But cracks showed, her hands shook slightly, her smile too tight. She feared losing grip, after all. Her ex-husband had been military. Left her high and dry after deployment changed him. Now, she ruled Willow Creek like her personal fiefdom, dipping into HOA funds for expenses like her spa days, disguised as community outreach. Then came the grocery store showdown. Mike needed milk, so off he went in full kit, blending in about as well as a tank in a tea party. He was in the dairy aisle when Brenda rounded the corner, cart laden with organic kale. Her eyes bulged. You? Here? In that outfit? Shoppers paused, sensing drama. Mike grabbed a carton, casual as pie. Just picking up essentials. Ma'am. Problem? Brenda's voice rose an octave. You're scaring customers. This isn't a war zone. A burly guy nearby, spotting Mike's unit patch, stepped up. Lady, this man's a hero. Back off. Brenda flushed, calling for the manager. But the manager, a vet himself, arrived and fist-bumped Mike. Semper Fi. Brother. Brenda fled, muttering about disrespect, but the store erupted in quiet cheers. Back home, Mike recounted at deadpan, she tried to have me ejected. Ended up looking like the villain. I laughed till my sides hurt. Her ego's taking hits. The letters piled up, warnings. Fines escalating to $500. Brenda rallied her bored cronies, timid Susan, who echoed every word like a parrot, and jittery Mr. Fowler, who just wanted peace. They scheduled an emergency meeting at the community center. A bland room with fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees. Brenda emailed the agenda, addressing persistent noncompliance. Mike and I showed up. Him in uniform. Me with popcorn mentality. The board sat stiffly. Brenda at the head. Gavel in hand like a scepter. Mr. Turner, she intoned. Your attire mocks our standards. We're imposing liens if necessary. Mike leaned back. Arms crossed. Standards? Like how you've been using HOA dues for your leadership retreats at the country club? The room froze. Susan gasped. What? Brenda's face drained of color. That's slander. But Mike pulled out printouts, public records he'd dug up quietly, showing discrepancies in the treasury. Thousands missing. Funneled to personal accounts. Not slander if it's true, he said mildly. And oh, yeah, federal law protects active duty folks from HOA harassment. Service Members Civil Relief Act. Ring a bell? Brenda stammered. We're autonomous. Mr. Fowler cleared his throat. Actually, Brenda. I checked. He's right. We could face lawsuits. Susan shifted uncomfortably. Maybe we drop this? Brenda's eyes darted. Panic setting in. You can't betray the community. But the vote came, unanimous to rescind all fines. Mike added. My JAG buddies on speed dial if needed. Brenda deflated. Her empire crumbling. As we left, Brenda hissed. This isn't over. But it was. The board audited the books. Whispers turned to demands for her resignation. She fought dirty, spreading rumors Mike was unstable, but neighbors rallied. Sharing their own Brenda horror stories, fined for holiday lights too gaudy, or bird feeders attracting pests. Mike stayed silent, letting truth snowball. 2 weeks later, a for sale sign sprouted in her yard. We watched from our porch as movers loaded her minivan. Brenda barking orders. Her face a mask of humiliated fury. She caught our eye. Glared. But Mike just tipped his cap. Safe travels. Ma'am. The neighborhood breathed easier. Mike threw a block party, grills smoking. Kids running free without fear of citations. Folks toasted him to real heroes. Laughter echoed. Stories flowed about Brenda's reign of terror. Property values? They held. Minus the drama. Mike finally relaxed. Shedding the uniform for jeans. But the lesson lingered, power unchecked breeds absurdity. So, tell me, was Brenda the true disruptor? Or did Mike's camo just expose the real camouflage in suburbia?